The four divisions of retired life are the Vaikanasas, Valakilyas, Audumbaras, and Penapas. The four divisions of the renounced order of life are the Kutichakas, Vavodas, Hangsas, and Nishkriyas. All these were manifested from Brahma. Purport. The Varnashrama Dharma, or the institution of the four divisions and orders of social and spiritual life, is not a new invention of the modern age, as proposed by the less intelligent. It is an institution established by Brahma from the beginning of the creation. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4.13. Chatur Vanyam Maya Shristam. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshumilitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangung Langai Tigrim Yat Kripata Mahangvande Shri Gurum Dinataradam Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Nina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sovadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vaikana Sava Lakilyo Dumbara Pena Pavane Nyase Kutichaka Purvam Ba Vodu Hangsa Nishkriyo. The four divisions of retired life are the Vaikanasas, Valakilyas, Audumbaras, and Penapas. The four divisions of the renounced order of life are the Kutichakas, Vavodas, Hangsas, and Nishkriyas. All these were manifested from Brahma. So, who wants to live in Satya Yuga? Or Treta Yuga, or Dwapar Yuga, where you have to practice this. Yeah, so I don't want to say Kali Yuga Kichai. It's more Kali Yuga Kichai because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, who gave a very powerful process which purifies us from material consciousness in a very, in one sense, easy way and in a very happy way. And in Bhagavatam we read very often of very tough renunciation, which has to be done. It was actually, in one sense, it was not an option, especially for the higher class of people. It was not an option. It was a duty. Everyone had to do it. Everyone had to take, not everyone, Brahmanas had to take sannyas. Kshatriyas had to go to the forest. All the great kings went to the forest and made incredible renunciation. Terrible renunciation. Very painful, actually. They were qualified, of course, so the relation was different. It's not that we can put ourselves now in such an age and have to practice that. It wouldn't work. We are very unqualified. And so for them it probably was not easy, but it was feasible. It was possible. So Prabhupada explains here that this Varnashram Dharma system is not a modern invention, because this is the challenge, or this is the argument against Hindu caste system, that this is a modern invention, that there was some class of people, Brahmanas, or Bhagavatas sometimes called, who were superior to the others, especially because they came from another region, like the modern so-called Aryan invasion theory. Most of you probably have heard about it. This is the theory that the Vedic civilization came from outside of India, from somewhere in Asia. What do they say? I forgot which region exactly. They speculate. More or less white people, maybe even Europeans. They brought civilization to India, because before that it was tribal, very simple. And then somehow or other these guys came, had higher knowledge, Vedic knowledge, and they had horses. They were materially more advanced, and they came in this land of these darkish people who lived very simple, and they civilized them, and they subordinate them. And these were more the Kshatriya Brahmana class. So, in that sense, they say it was a modern invention to put the people down, that they can put themselves up, and then they wrote the Vedic scriptures, and they made their social system very powerful, in that sense that they said there is a God who is supreme and very powerful, And this is what he wants. He wants this system. And we are in charge of the system. So he wants us to rule you. So if you believe in God, you have to believe in us. If you believe in God, we can rule you. So this is this, in very simple words, the modern argument against almost any religion. Religion in general, maybe even belief in God, that this is actually an instrument for power. It's a very powerful instrument for power, because it's the supreme power who empowers the powerful. Yeah? So this is modern atheistic theory which wants to rationalize belief in God. Where is it coming from? Why do people believe in such a, unprovable, unscientific, actually, naive thing, something like a God? Why do they believe it? Why is there so much inherent in human civilization? Why can't we get rid of it, actually? Now we live in an age of enlightenment. We have so much understanding about the world, which was previously justified by the God who did everything. But now we know it's not the God anymore. We know how the weather works, how the earth came about, how the universe came about. Before that, people believed in God because He was the explanation. But now we don't need Him anymore as an explanation. Why do they still believe in God? Why is it? What's that? Actually, it's puzzling for them. Sometimes even puzzling. It's a question. And it must be deeper. It must be something deeper in the evolution of man. Somehow very early it had to come in. It was coming in. It was not even God as an instrument for power. It was more psychological. More psychological. The man was living in a world of uncertainty. And this made him fearful. And so this brought him in touch with his causal or deepest emotions of fear. And in order to get rid of that, he invented the God. He invented the God. There must be someone who can help me, who can save me, who will help me out of my despair. So God not as a social invention, not God as an intellectual invention, as in a kind of scientific explanation. God is more as a psychological invention. It's like a psychological invention which is much more powerful than intellectual or social. Much more powerful because it touches very deep. It touches very deep. Layers of being. Because the psychological is the most powerful. Actually, it's the most powerful. The feelings is the most powerful. It's above the rational. Isn't it? You think, what nonsense? Rational is higher. Buddhi is higher than manas. Yeah, of course. If you can control it, if you know where to reside with your consciousness. But as a human being, it's very difficult to control the manas, and it's not just to control. Arjuna says it's more difficult to control the mind than to control the wind. Yes, of course. But the mind, it's not just thoughts. Actually, mind is more sentiments. That's the reason why it's called sentimental. Senti, the senses, and mental, the mind. The intelligence is the rational, free from the feelings and more above the things and analytical. The mind is very mental. The mind is very mental. And there are all the feelings. And feelings very often don't make sense. Okay, they might have a causal evolution, a development, why you feel, or in a technical sense, there might be some rationale behind it. But why you feel the things, this might not be rational, but still it is there. And so the rational is in that sense not so important, because you can think, why am I feeling in this and that way? And you try intellectually to understand it, but if you cannot get out of it, you still feel like that. So it doesn't matter if you understand it or try to understand it, try to control it. If you feel, you feel. As much illusion as it is, the feeling is there. It's real. So So yeah, and how difficult it is to control the mind and control the emotions, especially in a dangerous situation, fearful situation, or in a confusing situation. You can see you cannot stay focused and rational. The feelings overpower you. They're more powerful. It's very rare that someone can control the feelings. And it's the reason why Krishna, what is the strongest feeling is fear. Especially fear of death, or fear in the situation of death. And to master that, it takes the whole process of yoga. It's one of the aspects of yoga to survive death. survive death. Yeah, to be in this death situation, which is full of uncertainty. Of course, we read so much about it. Our whole life we read about death, and it's one of our core topics and main topics. But the one thing is the description in the book, and the other then when you experience it. And Krishna, he gives this as an indicator for successful life. If you stay cool in moment of death. Dhirastatra namuyati. Dhira means someone who's cool-headed, sober-minded. He's not getting bewildered by anything. Really cool. You know, someone who's really cool is always cool. Doesn't matter what happens, he's above it. He's not triggered. He's not getting waved. Everything cool. Even the most intense situation. So the most intense situation is death. Dhirastatalamuyati. Someone who is sober-minded, even though dying, is not bewildered. It's cool with it. And this means he mastered the mind. He mastered the feelings. And this is a big thing. So this was a little side point to the psychological justification of God. And the modern thinkers, they want to come up with so many explanations for this big mysterium. God is a mysterium. It's a mystery. It's a secret. And we ourselves, as searchers for the truth, which we are and now we found, we want to also unveil this mystery, which is very exciting, but with a different kind of different kind of approach. Yeah, they wanna, of course, because they, who is they? Not just say in a more rhetorical sense. They, not scientific or philosophical. So they want to explain everything in material terms, and even this big mystery that they want to explain this so-called transcendence in a material way. But we want to understand the Vaishnavas, a real Vaishnava, even maybe a beginning Vaishnava who is still figuring out in one sense. He wants to understand this mystery in a more submissive, and in general, in a spiritual way. Wants to understand, how does God work? Who is God? What is His nature? What is His personality? And in the Vedic scriptures, I would say this is one of the arguments for our belief in the Vedas, that here is a wonderful explanation, presentation about this mystery. A wonderful, conclusive, practical, very satisfying. Something which was not found anywhere else. Good, okay, so this to that. So, Varnashram Dharma system. Here, actually in this verse, I personally was not researching that, so I can't say too much about it, but Prabhupada very kindly, in the word-for-word translation, explains what this means. So these are the state, because I never knew this four kinds, Vaikanasa, Vala, Kilyao, Dumbada, and Penapa, and Kutichaka, Bhavoda, Hangsa, Nishkriyao. Yeah? Okay, some we might know, and we can figure out what is this in the stage of Varnashram Dharma system, but this is actually not so much I'm not educated about that, I must say. So of course we know the 4 stages of Varnashram Dharma, that we, or 2 times 4, Varna and Ashrama. So shortly for our new devotees who might not know that so well, this is as Prabhupada says also, it was created not just by Brahma, who is now here the main character in this episode of the Bhagavatam, who created everything. No, it was actually created by Krsna, as Prabhupada quotes here in 4.13 of Bhagavad Gita. Chatur vanyam mayashistam guna karma vibhagasha. Where Krishna says it was created by me, and it's an categorization of human society according to the nature, guna and karma. Yeah, according to your abilities or character, and according to your activities, which come out of your guna. Guna means qualities. So that's what you are, because of your material situation. According to that, you will act. It's quite logic. So, and according to that, you are put into a system, a social system, which then enhances your material qualities for and well social life, for a good social life. So your good tendencies are used and are educated, that you can be a productive and good part in the social system. Yeah. So this is very good, because we need each other. Nobody can be completely self-maintaining. Only those guys who were mentioned here in the end, who live from fruits which fall from the tree. Yeah, so if you can live like that, I need nothing, I just need a tree, and from time to time a fruit falls from it, this I'll eat, and I need nothing like that, nothing else. Or if you collect the grain which was left behind the farmer after harvesting. You don't even take that, what is meant for the others. You just take that, what nobody needs. Okay, then you can say, I need no one. So, but in general, we need many people. And recently I was chanting in my room, going up and down, thinking about this. Actually, we shouldn't think when we chant, okay? But it came to my mind that I'm so dependent. I'm depending on everything what is in my room. I have produced nothing of this, and many things are even given to me or donated, so it's not that I even earned them. And I was not even producing my shirt or kurta I'm wearing. I don't even know how I could make it. If not, so it's amazing that someone did that and I can wear that. I'm not producing my food. I'm eating. I'm not transporting the water with which I'm cleaning myself and taking shower. I do nothing. I'm a parasite. I'm a parasite doing nothing. Everything is given to me. So just because of this, we should think ourselves, grateful, but also humble. And I need others so much for my life. And in the end, of course, we know everything comes from Krishna. So Krishna gives everything. Just the basic things. Krishna is giving light, Krishna is giving air, Krishna is giving food, like basic things which if they wouldn't be there, we would simply die. So, gratitude is very important. So, we need other people. And in order that other people are there who provide for us, it needs a system. And the system is divine. Krishna made this like that. That there is this interdependence between the living entities. And then not just in a social system, a human system, then further nature, animals, this and that. So the whole universe is a big system of interdependence. And if everyone plays his role nicely, it works. And if someone starts not playing his role not nicely, then comes chaos. We play out of tune. Like in Kirtan, sometimes you have someone who plays out of tune, out of rhythm, and it's annoying. You need only one guy who is not playing right. The whole thing becomes messy, isn't it? The one new devotee trying to practice kartals during Kirtan. And now I try a new beat and a new thing. Could you kindly stop that? So you get chaos. Like in a symphony, in an orchestra, it has so many parts there, so many people, like this big orchestra in some big opera. You have the violins, and you have the cello, and you have some, pauke, how's it called? A pauke like this, and then this. Chinelle. I don't know how to, it's in English. And then you have some singers and so many amazing instruments actually. And everyone plays according to the system. Everyone plays according to the plan. There's a plan. Everyone has the notes, and everyone knows, okay, I play this and that at the right time and the right... And it's not just the rhythm, and it's not just the notes, it's also how they play them, right? Because you can play the violin probably like this, but you see these good musicians, right? How they play, they're like one with the music or one with the sound. They feel it's like, I'm not a musician, only a little bit, but it's amazing how they are into the sound and they feel every nuance of the sound. And with this fine instrument like a violin, it's kind of a fine instrument, how this bow works, how according to the pressure the sound is getting louder, more intense, and they feel it and they're like absorbed and they feel every nuance and they like make these faces how they experience the sound. And then you have in front the, how's it called, the director, how's it called, Dirigent, in German you say Dirigent, and he feels the whole thing, right? And sometimes you think, why is this guy get paid so much? Why is this guy getting so much, reward? Yeah, they are doing it. He's just waving this thing. Yeah, he's just waving the thing. He's doing nothing. Actually, the son of my brother's grandmother, he's a director. He's a director. He's doing this. And once I was in an orchestra of his, not huge, but semi big. Yeah. So and you think, why this guy? What is he doing? And people don't understand music and classical music. Think, this is crazy. He's the most crazy of all of them, right? So he's like sweating and his hair is everywhere and he has these faces and feeling the music. And it's amazing what drama he presents there, right? But it's not about how it looks. It's music. It's how it sounds. So you should hear the music and experience the music actually and every nuance. So this guy, he has the overview about all these instruments, and he hears who is in tune, who is playing right, who is playing in the right mood. It's not about tune actually, because they are professionals. Nobody will play out of rhythm or something. It's more how they play it, and they have to play soft or a little bit stronger and this and that. And then out of this comes the symphony. Yeah. So in one sense, a social system is kind of like that. Yeah. And in a Vedic civilization was like a symphony of a social system. And the outcome was everyone was happy. Everyone was happy because everything was good. Everyone was good, played his part or her part really well. And in this interdependence was actually a wonderful exchange of love. It was not, I need this and I have to give. No, it was out of service, out of love. And this made the whole arrangement of humans wonderful and happy, and the products and the situation, everything was nice, was pleasing. Because as humans, we are social beings. We need each other. It's not just for, I need you for my food. I need a farmer for my sabji. Yeah. It's also emotional, of course. It's very highly emotional. Humans are social beings, means highly emotional beings. We need each other out of emotional reasons. And this is one of the things, how you can torture someone. You put him in isolation, isn't it? Sometimes brahmachari might think, oh, this is wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm in my own little nobody and I just can chant and just read. Yeah, it's true. There are those rare guys, most of the time guys, who don't have so many social, emotional needs. This is one of the prerequisites for the renunciant, isn't it? That he doesn't have so many emotional needs. Because we are such emotional beings, this all has to get fulfilled. And this is also one of the reasons I spoke about emotional, psychological needs before that, just a little bit. So in a social setting, it comes more out like that also. And this is one of the qualifications for those who don't need Varnashram Dharma system so much. The renunciants, Babajis, and sannyasis, of which we hear here there are 4 kinds. These are the people who leave the system. But not out of frustration, more because they transcended it. And they can really dedicate themselves to a higher goal. Yeah. And they are allowed to leave. Normally, they are not allowed to leave. Nobody's allowed to leave, right? You have to fulfill your duty. Like in India, still these remnants are strongly there. Family bondage, right, is very strong. You have to fulfill your duty. Huh? So, but in a social setting, and in such a social setting, it's obvious, yeah, everyone should play his role until a certain point, when it comes then the renunciation. Then he's allowed to go. And then he should be also ready to go. Yeah. So Vedic civilization was such a wonderful arrangement because everyone was living according to nature. And not just nature in a physical sense, and more actually in an emotional sense. What is my nature? A psychological sense. What is my nature? And I act this out, and we have this wonderful exchange of give and take. So, and because this is psychological, as I would call it, in one sense we can refer this back to natural reasons which in the end are caused by God, who set up the whole system. So it's more inherent. This is what I want to say. This Varnashram Dharma system is more inherent in a human being than just being a system out of necessity. Okay, we are so many guys here together, some or other we have to arrange what would be good. Okay, we call the ones intellectual brahmanas, you do like this, and you're kshatriyas. No, it's not an invention, a creation by humans. It's natural in that sense. It's natural. It's in the human individual and the collective. So in that sense, it's a creation by Krsna, so that we are, that we can survive. Good. So, because Varnashram is right now in, in aller Munde. In German you say in aller Munde. I don't know how do you say this in English. Everyone's mouth, because it's a big topic in ISKCON. Varnashram Dharma system, We need it. Do we want it? We should do it. Prabhupada wanted it. And now even so many discussions because of crisis. In crisis, it becomes even more obvious that something like this would be very helpful. And so it's in aller Munde. Everyone's talking about it, and it's a big thing. As we know, Prabhupada said, he's always quoted like that. I actually don't know when he said it exactly, but he's always quoted it. And I did only 50% of my mission, something like this. And the other 50% is Varnashrama Dharma system. So definitely something what is needed, and what is always. And I was thinking before, maybe to bring it in the end to a more spiritual, in a spiritual perspective. It's not only that it is a system by Krishna how we can live together, okay, out of necessity also. No, it's something what is even there in Krishna's Leela. And as we understand, Krishna's Leela, Bauma Leela, is his eternal Leela, just a projection of his eternal Leela into the material world, so it's in the spiritual world there too. So it's something what is always there. In that sense, Varna Ashram system is always there, and it's spiritual, it's connected with Krishna. Krishna is a cowherd boy, he's a Vaishya. So, and the exchange between the people, it's not Varnashram Dharma, it's not only the social arrangement, it's also the whole etiquette and how you behave, and it's so much more, right? Vedic culture, as we call it. So this is not just the means to get to a goal, this is also the goal. In that sense, it's the goal, it's the way and the goal. Der Weg und das Ziel. It's both. You want to reach Krishna with Krishna consciousness, which means also understanding the setting in which Krishna exchanges the rasa between his devotees and him. And this has to be understood. And in the end, we enter into such a lila where this is also expressed or lived out. Yeah. So it's interesting. So, but at the same time, now might come an what is it? Einwand? Objection. Yeah, objection. But was not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, Nahang, what is it? Naham vipro na charapatiya napi vaishyo na shudro naham kriyapatiya no manastyava. Kintu prodya nikila paramananda punamritapter gopi partubada kamalaya das and das. I am neither this nor that of the whole Varnashram system. And isn't our tradition more or less, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Chaitanya Vaishnava tradition, founded exactly on this point? Where the devotees were refraining from the social setting, refraining from identification with the material, and going deep into their meditation, bhajan, spiritual life. But at the same time, you do that, you enter into the spiritual Varnashram, because then they took on the roles, spiritual roles, and enter into a lila, often setting of a spiritual Varnashram Dharma system. So anyway, this was just some food for thought. Everyone can think about that. So, yeah, more or less. Anyway, time. Yeah, so Krishna's system is also spiritual. Krishna was behaving according to it when he was 5,000 years ago here. He was living as an Vaishya, then he was a king. He played the role also as an example for us. And it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. When we read Krishna's Leela, it's amazing, it's inspiring, it's entertaining. Yeah? And all this, how to say, the nature, I don't know how to say that, nature of the Leela and all these personalities which with their roles, and you need the Brahmas and the Sadhus and the Rishis and the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas and the whole setting. It's märchenhaft. What is it? It's like a spiritual fairy tale. Like in fairy tales you always have a king, a princess and all that. And it's not fairy tale, it's more mythology, right? It's some mythical, ancient teaching nobody really knows. It's about a world long forgotten, and so we find a bridge and understanding towards this myth from the past, which have always kind of a similar social setting. We find this explained in the Vedic scriptures, that something like this was there. In that sense, the mythology, the stories and the fairy tales, they are remnants of another age, right? Another age. And the Bhagavatam and Vedic scriptures, they give us a very nice explanation how this was justified, that such a world was once there. But with Kali Yuga, with the beginning of Kali Yuga, one element of Kali Yuga and Kali's tactic to put people into sin is also the how's it called? The separation between man and his past. Right? So there is this layer of ignorance and forgetfulness. Nobody really knows what was before. And through this you can justify man comes from monkeys and we come just from the cosmic soup and everything comes out of like nothing and all that. Because there's no other explanation. Everything is steeped into ignorance. Nobody knows where did everything come from. So this is one of the tactics of Kali too, to justify atheistic and valueless or purposeless theories and explanations about life. So yeah, in that sense the Bhagavatam is very necessary, not just for bhakti, not just for theology, it's also for connecting or reconnecting a lost human being of Kali Yuga to connect with our past and gives our being a very strong identity as a human being, right? Because the atheistic philosophy isn't also this philosophy of evolution. It degrades actually a human being. You're just a monkey. You just came out of elements. You're just an accident. And where's then the question of purpose? There's no purpose, because there's no purpose. You happen to be. Humans happen to be. And because this realization is very sad, atheists might admit that, you counteract this with giving yourself a purpose. Search for purpose. This was Camus' punchline. Albert Camus, one of these atheistic philosophers, with his in his book. I haven't read it, but I just heard. Not that I claim to have read it, but in this book of the Sisyphus. I was telling the story recently. Yeah? The Sisyphus is one... I don't know who he was, but he went into hell. It was like in Greek mythology. And he came into hell and was punished. You have to roll this... I haven't said stone. You knew already. You have to roll this stone. Yes, he knows the story. You have to roll this stone up the hill. This is your punishment in this hell. And he was very strong and he could do it. A big stone. And it was rolling, rolling, rolling. And he rolls the stone on this mountain. And when finally he did it, I did it! I survived hell. No, the stone of course was rolling down again. And oh no, I have to do it again. Do it again. And so he's doing this for eternity. Yeah. So, and Camus says, life is like that actually. It's a futile attempt. Whatever you do, it will fail. And purpose, there's no purpose. Like in Sisyphus, there is no purpose. And this might be the biggest punishment. Not that he has to, be physically so exhausted. That this is so exhausting and painful to do it. No, but the purposelessness in his activity. Imagine you do something with great endeavor and strength and you sweat, but it makes no sense. I sometimes, because I'm not so handy, so when I do something, I work with my hands, then it most of the time fails, but still I'm always challenged. This time I will make it. Whatever, I try. It's not so difficult. And I kind of fail all the time, but I will not give up my hope. So sometimes I do, and it takes me a lot. And sometimes I do stupid things. Man, God, what kind of stupid things I did. Anyway, and it takes me a long time. It's very exhausting and sometimes painful. And in the end, I figure out it was wrong. And this is the most painful. I was so much for like nothing and to redo the whole thing. Right? So it's not, the pain is not that I was, because imagine you do something with great strength, great endeavor, lots of sweat, and then it's okay, it's good. Wow, it was worth it. But you do it was just useless. This is even more. My God, I wasted so much energy. And then you do it again and the same realization, do it again and the same realization. This is most frustrating. So, yeah, Camus said this life is like this. And if you realize that, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is life is not worth living. It's purposeless. Sisyphus should kill himself. He should let the stone roll over him. That's the best thing he can do. The best thing is what you can do is kill yourself if you understand life has no purpose. So, but we shouldn't do that. We cannot do that, right? So, give yourself a purpose. Give yourself a purpose, put it into your head, and then it's good. You can save yourself from suicide. Yeah. So, one reason for this possible thinking is that we don't have this identity. Okay, Prabhupada gives us right away identity. You're a spiritual soul, and suddenly our life makes so much sense. Everything becomes so full of meaning and purpose. This is like the ultimate identity. Okay, but there are other layers of identity which are also important. If we cannot jump immediately to this full understanding of being a soul and acting according to it, because most of the time we are believing it and it gives purpose, but we cannot act completely according to it. Especially to our definition of soul, which is Jivyasvarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. And what means that you are a servant of Krishna, which is very specific. It's okay, it's in the material world, we serve with all the elements, everything what we have, Krishna, but in one sense, meaning you are a gopa or a gopi and you should act according to that. So this realization of this activity is of course far away. So we cannot right away act according to this soul identity. So this is the reason why Varnashram Dharma system should be there, to give us also a place and identity. Okay, this is one thing which is why it's important. Yeah? I am, when I changed now my ashram, I was talking with my father and he said, this is very normal, this is very natural, this is very good. Because a man needs a woman. A man needs a woman. It's very gross. In one sense, for a spiritual person, it's kind of gross. But in one sense, it's true. Yeah? We have emotional needs and we have physical needs, and if they are not fulfilled, it's not normal, it's not proper. And to not need that, it's like, it's big. Actually, it's big. So one sense is, I hope what I will talk now. So your identity is very important, and the connection of us with our past through the Bhagavatam gives us also identity, right? As a human being in general, not just in our social position, individual position, social position, no, also as a human being, right? And it shows us, wow, to be a human is very powerful, it's wonderful, it's great, and something good. And it just got degraded through Kali Yuga. And it went so far now in modern philosophies who say that humans are actually a burden to the earth. And of course we pollute the earth and we are a burden, yes, but it's not our destiny. It's just because we don't know better. And who are very anti-humanistic in one sense. And who say we are too many. Actually, we are a burden, we are too many. We have to get rid of a couple of them. What shall we do? A little war, a little disease, a little virus might help, right? So very unhuman. So, and I end maybe with this point, when Prabhupada says, when you have a bad eye, what do? You plug it out? No, you cure it. In the same way, humanity is not doomed, or is not destroying everything, and in that sense is not doomed and should not be extinguished. It should be saved and educated, actually re-educated, because people are educated. Western people in general, they are educated. You cannot say they are not educated, but the foundation of the education is wrong and makes the whole calculation wrong. To understand that they don't know that they are souls and they don't know they are gods. So we have to start with the right calculation at the beginning. So they have to get re-educated, and this is the mission also of the Hare Krishna movement, give people education. And through all that, they get purpose, they get identity, and they get this satisfaction. And in the end, over all these material needs, which are then fulfilled in a divine and harmonic way, they get Krishna consciousness, which is the supreme knowledge about Krishna, his Leela, his devotees, Mahaprabhu's essential gift towards humanity. So this is very glorious, and we can be very happy to be allowed to be engaged in this mission, and we should try our best to fulfill our part, to share, to experience at first, of course, all that knowledge and get this experience, and then share it as good as we can. Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.